Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician's channel. And today on Tool Talk episode 31, we're going to be going into my top 5 favorite Harbor Freight tools that I have. Now, like 3 or 4 videos back, I did a video on basically all of my Harbor Freight items that I own. I did forget a few things. Now that I looked through some more of my stuff, I did find that I left out a lot of my extensions and clamps and stuff like that. Not big things, so it's not a big deal. But I chose my 5 from the stuff I presented in that previous video. If you haven't checked that one out, go ahead and check that out. It's a pretty good video of just my overall collection of Harbor Freight tools. But this one's going to be focusing on my top 5 and why I like them. And some of them I would actually use in the professional field. Yes, Harbor Freight tools in the professional field. You can't say that about a lot of the items, but I gotta admit, a couple of them I would use, because one of them I wouldn't use all that often. I wouldn't be using it on a daily basis, so it would hold up just fine. And the other one, I do believe it would hold up, and to me, it's a pretty damn good product. But other than that, let's get into this. I have shown you guys these items before, obviously, since I included all of my Harbor Freight tools in one video. But we're going to go into a little bit more detail. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you do, please hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below what you think, or if you have some Harbor Freight items that you would use in the professional field, or just something that you use at home on a regular basis. And as always, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Thank you guys. Okay guys, so first thing up on my list, which is going to actually be kind of a 2-part deal. It's going to be 2 items, but I'm just going to count it as one. First up being this 3-ton jack. It does have a fairly low profile. It's not the low profile one that they have, but it does have a fairly low profile for your lowered vehicles. And it does work very well. You need to be careful when purchasing jacks from Harbor Freight, just because some of them do fail. You got to be careful of which, because they have a couple different designs. This one I find it holding up very well, and I like it a lot. I have had 0 issues with it. It's got a nice big plate on the bottom. I obviously have a board here just because I'm getting ready to remove this exhaust and install a new torque arm and cross member. But as far as the jack, it is very strong. It does have a nice handle. This is half of it. You can take the upper half off. And it does have a cushion on there so you don't go banging it on other cars and stuff like that. But overall, it's a great jack, and that is my number 1. But we're going to move on to the other half of my number 1 choice. So the other half of my number 1 is this Pittsburgh 2-ton cherry picker. And I use this to pull out the V6 in my Camaro, and also unload the 357 out of my dad's truck when he brought it down. And this thing works great. And it was on sale. I think I got it for like, I can't even remember. It was anywhere from $129 to $159, but normally it's like $200. So it was a really good deal, and it's damn good quality, especially for the price. And you can tell it folds up nicely and fits into small areas, well, generally a smaller area. It's still a very large item, but it's got it takes up minimal space for a cherry picker. But that works great, and I love it. Okay, so I've kind of shown you the bigger stuff of the stuff that I own that I really like. That jack and that cherry picker has held up very well. I haven't used the cherry picker as much. Obviously, I don't do engine work all the time, so I'm not moving engines and stuff. But it's useful for more than just engines. But overall, I really enjoy those. I haven't had an issue with either one of them, and they're holding up very well. So on to my next item, which was in my previous video on Harbor Freight tools, and I couldn't decide if I would use it in the professional environment or if it's just good for home. But in order to test that theory and help me decide whether or not the Pittsburgh item would be good for the work environment, I'm going to bring home my Matco version of it and compare and see how accurate it actually is compared to my Matco one. So right here I have this 6-inch digital caliper. The part number 68304. And I think they run for like $10 to $20, and digital micrometers can become very expensive if you're looking at a very nice one. But in order to figure out, is it worth paying that extra amount for the digital mic when you can get this for like $20? Is it going to be worth it? I guess we'll find out when I compare this to my Matco one. But it is very handy here at home, and I've had zero issues with it. It's worked great. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but we will find out. You have your on and off, you got your 0, and then you can switch in between millimeter and inches. So overall, you can read inside and outside diameters, as well as depth and stuff like that. But for $10 to $20, you couldn't really beat it. It feels of decent quality. It's nice and tight, nothing's loose. It does come in a nice little plastic case with the foam insert on the inside. It does have a spot to hold your batteries, a couple that you can pop out and put batteries in here. It has a few different cutouts for different parts that you can add to this. So it seems like a really nice one. I've had it for about a year now, and really enjoy it here at home. Okay guys, so I just showed you my digital caliper from Pittsburgh, and it seems to work great. So moving on to my next item, I have done a couple of videos in the past on it, one recently compared to my gear wrench version, which is the pass-through socket set. I know I've talked a lot about it, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. If you want to know more about this set, go ahead and check out my previous videos that goes much further into detail about it. But overall, I am extremely happy with this purchase. Not only is it good quality, it's made in Taiwan, but all of the sockets are universal on any 3/4 inch wrench, and I find that very useful compared to the gear wrench that you can't use other wrenches. You have to specifically use the ratchet that was designed with the sockets. So this one is very universal and great, especially for $20. You use your 20% discount, you get it for like 18 bucks or so. It's a really great purchase, and it seems to be great quality. So this I would use in the work environment just because it is decent quality, and I wouldn't be using it every single day. It's not too often that you absolutely need a pass-through socket set, because most of the time you can get by with just a ratcheting wrench. But sometimes these can come in handy, and truthfully, I would use this in the work environment. So that was number 3. Now we're gonna move on to number 4, which is this Pittsburgh Pro high torque lug nut impact socket set. So there's 11, well, not 11 sockets, there's 9 sockets and 2 extensions. It comes in a very nice blow molded case. This one does have a lifetime warranty. They do have another set that I don't believe is lifetime warranty, so that's why I went with this one. I think in the store it runs around $70, but I've found them online. I got mine for like $50. I have found them as low as $40. So it's a really nice set, especially for the price, because a lot of the time you're gonna get like, when you buy a set like this, you're gonna get like 3 sockets, and obviously they're gonna be your most common ones, so you're probably gonna have what you need, but they're about the same price. So if I'm gonna pay that much, I might as well get as many sockets as I can, because I have lifetime warranty anyways, and I'm right next to a Harbor Freight. The item number is 69829, and it does come in a very nice blow molded case. Nice plastic hinges. They're not the ones that snap back, so you don't have to fight trying to get it open. And then here you have all of your sockets. 3/4, 13/16, 7/8, 15/16, 1 inch, and 1 1/16. Then you have your 17, 19, and 21 over here with a 3 and 6 inch extension. They are really good quality. I gotta say, I'm extremely happy with this purchase. Now you have to be careful with these sockets because they're specifically designed to have a thinner wall so you can get into those tight spots on rims. That does mean that the socket is going to be a little bit weaker because it doesn't have as much support around it. But it does have this plastic casing around it to kind of protect the rim, and it is removable just in case you can't get it in that lug nut area with the plastic like sheathing on there. I haven't broke one yet. I've used 2 different ones. I haven't used them all. Obviously, I don't come across things being this big as far as the cars that I work on. But it's always nice to have it just in case you need it. It's a very nice set, lots of pieces, good variety, great case, and that is definitely something I would use in a professional environment. So for $70 in the store, you get 20% off, you know, you're saving like $8 or so. That's really not bad. And I'm extremely happy with it. So that's my number 4. Now let's move on to my final item, which I have shown you guys before, and I'm extremely happy about it. Alright guys, so my final item is, yes, I've shown you guys this a couple times, but I'm extremely happy with this purchase because I almost ended up spending over $100 on an underhood light. And that's because I didn't know about this one. And I came across it, and I actually looked at it a few times before purchasing it. It is a Luminara work underhood light. The reason I looked at it a few times before purchasing it is because I saw the other work lights. I said $100, $150, that's a lot of money, but if this is $30, it's gotta be a piece of crap. But after looking at it quite a few times, I finally decided to make the purchase. I used the discount, got it for under $30, and I'm extremely happy with it. It does have this plastic protection over the LEDs. It's like 120 LEDs. It has a nice rubberized coating around the handles here and around here. This is kind of a base for the end of the light, just in case you drop it, it lands on the rubber and doesn't actually damage the lights. And then you have a power button on both sides, and it's got 2 settings, your low and your high. It's pretty bright. It's going to be great for underhoods. Granted, you're not going to be sticking this in tiny little locations, but it's going to give you a general lighting over your entire engine bay, and then you can use your smaller lights for those crappy situations. But one thing I do like about this, each end does have 2 magnets here that are actually pretty damn strong, and you have a plastic hook to hang it as well, and that is on both ends. And you just simply unscrew it, and it's got this like bungee cord in here. It is stretchy, and it's like that on both sides. You just simply unscrew it and it pulls out. Obviously you guys have seen this on every intro to my video. It's hanging in my toolbox, and it works great in there, and whenever I need it, I just simply pull it down. I'll either end up taking this one to work or simply buying another one because it's a damn good price. So that's it for my 5 things. Once again, I know a lot of people hate Harbor Freight and a lot of people love them. I have a lot of Harbor Freight, and I admit some things that I've purchased I was really disappointed, but surprisingly a lot of the items that I did purchase from there have held up very well, especially for here at home. But there are also those ones that I would use at work, and if I end up taking them to work and breaking them, I guess I'll let you guys know if that's something that you shouldn't use for the work environment. But stay tuned for that video where I compare Pittsburgh's digital caliper to Matco's digital caliper and see just how accurate it is compared to the Matco one. I should have some more videos coming soon with a little bit better content. I'm done with Harbor Freight, I think, for a while. I've killed it on the Harbor Freight topic, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of the tools that you love or hate from Harbor Freight. And as always, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thank you guys.